What's up, guys? I have a new gimbal to test here. This is the Zhiyun Smooth 5S smartphone stabilizer. This is the combo that comes with their AI tracker that's magnetic on top. Zhiyun sent this to me. I'm assuming they saw my other videos on, let's see, it was Insta360 Flow, the Tech one, and I think I did a Scorp C video also in the past. My focus is usually on Android compatibility, so I'm going to be testing that with the Galaxy S24 Ultra, hopefully with a case on, and see how it does, see what kind of compatibility there is, and also test out the active track here and see how that performs. So stick around, let's see how this works. All right, first off, we got to do a weight payload test because the max payload for this gimbal is 300 grams. And I'm going to try it with my case, see how close we are. Honestly, if I have to take off my case to use it, I'll probably return the gimbal. But if I can do it with a case on, then it's usable to me. So let's see. 281 grams for this phone. I did take off the MagSafe holder I have on there because, of course, you can't use that anyway with the clip. Let me throw on the AI tracker just in case that counts towards the payload. And that puts us at exactly 300 grams. So technically everything should work fine. So let's mount it up. We will balance the gimbal and see how easily it balances and give it a go. All right, we're going to try mounting the phone, make sure it fits in these clips, and then see how easy it is to balance and if it can be balanced based on the heavy weight of this phone. All right, so first thing we're showing here is this clip here. We'll let you do landscape or portrait with your phone. I think I want it this way. We'll do landscape. The different axes on this snap into place for storage. So we'll twist them to unlock them. And then the bottom axis here has a manual locking switch. All right, first things first. Let me lock the bottom. Let me lock side, and we'll just leave one unlocked here. And let's see if there's a preference for direction on this. Assuming it will balance this direction, so we want the camera probably facing up and the charge port facing towards here. We'll slide it in. No problem fitting this big phone. You could take note of the space here and the space here. If you're going to balance this thing, I would start with it. It's as centered as possible in those. You can just kind of slide it. As far as the additional space goes, there is a tiny bit more space. But I'm assuming any other phone is going to be probably over the weight limit once you get any bigger than this. All right, I'm going to lock. Maybe I'm not going to lock it. I'm going to lock this axis first so it doesn't move on us. And you can see if I let go of it, it just wants to drop. It's too heavy. So I'm going to loosen this. Keep sliding it out until the phone is balanced. And you can test the balance, make sure it goes back to center. It's maybe just a little more. That was a little too much. Okay, I'm going to call that balance. I'll lock it there. We'll unlock this one. And it will go this direction. So let's see if I let go of it. Actually, if I tip it up and let go, seems like it's a little bit top heavy. So what we'll do is we'll push the phone down in the clip a little. Now I could pick a spot, let go, and it stays. So we've got it balanced in two directions now. And there is, once I unlock the bottom axis here, there is no way to balance the bottom here, at least as far as I can tell. On my other gimbals, there will be an arm. Let me see if I can show it on the camera here. There will be an arm here that you could slide forward and backwards. And that way, when you tip the gimbal, it will stay still versus sink like this one is. On the plus side, it does look like it's sinking to a level point. So maybe it won't be an issue. Oh, might as well show a cool feature here. This one does have a light built in. If you get the higher end version of this gimbal, the one above getting the AI tracker, it looked like it comes with an extra light that you could snap onto the top or bottom, and I think also a carry case. So at this point, we are balanced and nothing's locked, so I'm going to turn it on. Probably a good time to mention too, like the sturdiness of this thing is amazing. There's no plasticky feel to it. This knob is really nice, although it's set to do the wrong axis right now, but um, joystick feels good, nice and smooth. There's no rattling noises. It's nice and quiet. You can see it's turned on now and it's balancing. It's very smooth. Handles the weight fine so far. The one little catch or gotcha on here is that because I have this arm so far out to balance this phone, there is a little bit of limited range of motion. So you can see it with this arm wanting to touch here. So if you move too fast, not doing it now, which is great, but I was having a little bit of trouble in certain positions where it would start shaking because it was either touching that arm or about to touch that arm. Okay, let's go play with the app here. We'll play with the tracker and see how everything works together. All right, guys, I got the app loaded up here. It's a ZY Cami app in the Google Play Store. It does make you create an account. One thing I didn't like about doing that, well, besides the fact that I had to make an account, was that it didn't accept my typical passwords that I use. It wouldn't allow special characters. So I think that's a little bit of a security issue there that maybe they can improve on. Once you load up the app, you just hit the camera icon there, and you can see we've started out at 1x. So let's test out zoom first and make sure all of the lenses work on the Galaxy camera. Galaxy S24 Ultra here. Let me first focus and center it on some kids artwork here. And use the zoom wheel. Let's see which camera we're on right now. Okay, we're on the 1x camera right now. Once we hit 3x, it should switch over to the little camera, which is, yeah. And then on the S24 Ultra at 5x, it switches over to the telephoto, which is right here. So that lens is working. So that would mean the only camera that it's not able to use, because I can't zoom out past 1x, would be the wide angle, the 0.6x on this phone. But you do have full range of motion in between all the way to 10x using the wheel and the integrated app. Okay, next up, we should test some of the other buttons on here. Might just move my other camera down here a little. Let's see, we've got record. That's working. We saw the joystick was working. Let's see, if we tap it once, does that turn the light on? That did not turn the light on. Let me try that. It's just a long press. And now we have light. And this wheel here lets you adjust the brightness on it. We can go, sorry, my DJI Pocket 3 here is not wanting to follow properly. It gets wholly bright. Let's take this in a dark room real quick. Lights up the room pretty good. You can check the footage here. I'm in a pitch black room pretty much, and we've got good visibility. Let me turn the light down a little. And back up. Works good, really smooth. Okay, press this button again. It should stop recording. Okay, good. In-app here for Android. I see we've got 4K 30 frames per second. It looks like 60 frames is available, only if you have experimental turned on. And let's give that a sample, although to be fair, I think I'm probably publishing this video at 30 frames per second, so you won't notice. Let's take a peek outside. We got snow today, slush and rain. Oh, I should probably turn the light off. And that was my bad. I accidentally stopped the recording instead of turning off the light. Long press does turn the light off. So anyway, let's get talking about this active track sensor on top. It's a little magnetic camera. Snaps on and off, and you could face it both ways if you've got your phone pointing the other direction. I'm going to face it back around this way. Something I have noticed, though, is if you're using the cameras app, which I'm going to be using here now for the rest of this, and actually I'll just point out too, I'm going to put it in video mode. We're on 4K 30 frames per second, 16:9. Something I have noticed is if you do the hand signal to start recording, which I'm going to do off to the side here, which is not the OK sign. It is the peace sign. That will start the recording. If you do that and you're not using their app, it just closes out the camera app. And it sounded like from the instructions, as long as your volume buttons are set to start recording, that should work, but it doesn't for me. So I'll show you here. Let me turn it around. It's in the camera app now. It's on video mode. I'm going to do peace sign. The blue light blinks. And now if I turn it around, we are not recording. Actually, last time I did it, it closed the camera app out. So either way, it's not doing that functionality here. So just keep that in mind. You're going to want to manually hit record. And now we can go through the other gestures. The OK hand signal will start active track, snaps it right into place. It's following me at a pretty fast pace here. If I want to stop active track, I'll just hold my hand up. That works great. Turns back on, keeps me centered. I have found, let me hop out of view for a moment here. You can walk out of its range, come back in. The light turned green pretty quick there. It had recaught onto me and it will follow me. I want to say I can go about 10 seconds before it won't catch back on. So let's give that a go. It's 5 seconds. And here's 10 seconds. And in that case, it doesn't catch back on. I think like 8-9 seconds when I was testing it, it was catching back on just fine. Let's see. The other feature is basically the ability to have me off-centered within the frame on the camera. So let me stop the tracking first. What I'm going to do is point it down a little bit. So this is basically custom framing. And what I'm going to do, like I have to drop this, I had to do it with 2 hands, is this little square. So I'm probably pretty centered. I can't actually see where I am in the frame. I can kind of see in the reflection of the TV behind me. So what I want to do now is stop it. Let me get myself lower in the frame. There we go. So I got a blinking red light when I did it this time. I found that if you're too close, it doesn't work. What I'm going to do, I think I need to turn my tracking on this one so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. And maybe it's because I'm too low in the frame. So let me go a little higher. That time it worked. So now it should be, looks like I'm a little bit off to the center and maybe my head's a little higher than it was before. And we can stop it. I can go farther on the edge of the frame. And now it's got me on the far side of the frame instead of the center. That works good too. But it's really cool that you can do this without having an app or without having an all-in-one device. One of the big benefits to a gimbal like this is that you're not paying a ton of money for an all-in-one system like you are with this, say, DJI Pocket 3 here that runs, I don't know, something like $500. And then I think it was like $40 to get the wide-angle lens, which feels like a must on this thing. Meanwhile, cell phone has all those different lenses built in. You've got zooming, you've got a light built in. So really in comparison, if you have a good phone and don't have, $500-$600 to get a DJI Pocket 3, or just, doesn't make sense to spend that much money for what you're going to use it for, these things are definitely a great option. And basically, if you're using an Android phone, I think this one had more compatibility for the different camera lenses than even the Insta360 did. And I've sold my Insta360 Flow now because over time using it, I was having a lot of issues with it not being able to handle the weight load of this Galaxy S23 Ultra that I had at the time. So I've done a bunch of walking around with this one. It hasn't failed me yet. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments that I can answer, preferably things specific to active track or Android use of this device. I know I'm not doing like a full entire review. My focus on these across all of the gimbals, little gimbals I've tested, has been active track and Android compatibility. So again, thank you for watching, and let me know if you have questions below.